we were to just recap the last month in terms of events, we have the brutal murder of Iryna Zarutska by DeCarlos Brown Jr.
This is the picture of it.
Then we have the killing of Charlie Kirk.
They're reporting that Charlie has died.
The assassination, act of political terror, absolutely horrific act of violence. And now we have this march.
This is the biggest demonstration in Britain's history.
I mean, these are sort of three very big events in the last month. The Overton window, as someone pointed out on X, has been stabbed to death.
Something is changing, something is waking up. People are waking up, people are organizing, people are moving.
It's time to stop them. There's no joke. It's about the future of our children, our grandchildren, about the future of Christian Europe. This is why I am in politics.
My name is Stefan Tompson. I'm the founder of EasyGrad24, and today I am in London, on Sloane Square, no less.
Beautiful place.
With two
Beautiful
dear
place.
friends, with member of the European Parliament, Dominik Tarczyński, and with Ridvan, Aydemir, better known as the Apostate Prophet. Great to have you guys. Yesterday, we saw one of the largest marches held in the UK supporting free speech. Tell me about what you saw. Dom, you were one of the speakers. Tell me, what was the event like?
What Tommy did was unprecedented. To me, that was a turning point for Great Britain, especially that Tommy said that we can expect another one in May. So from my political point of view, that was huge. For this kind of environment, political and media environment, that was a miracle. I'm serious. I think that was beautiful. So I'm so happy to be a part of this.
Something is waking up in Britain. So many years ago, Piers Morgan was ignoring Tommy Robinson and was telling him not to come on his show.
They were laughing at him.
Yeah, they were laughing at him. They were making fun of him. They were predicting, the mainstream media was predicting that Tommy Robinson will fail, that he will become insignificant, that this movement will fail. Something incredible happened yesterday. As I was, so early in the morning, as I was trying to get to the venue, hours away already, an hour away, driving, people in, Uber rides and elsewhere were talking to me about how there is a big rally going on today by Tommy Robinson and by people. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. This was all the talk. In the evening, after the event was over, I went to my hotel room. I turned on the TV. TV stations are talking about Tommy Robinson and the Unite the Kingdom rally. They are all talking about it. They are all talking about the numbers, about the sentiments, about the speeches, about how fiery Tommy Robinson is. It is incredible how much he has achieved.
I think the most important part of these comments is that Sky News went, the worst part of this rally was that normal people attended, like ordinary citizens attended this rally. They are scared, and obviously they tried to criticize Tommy for years for his actions, for who he is. And then they ask, where is Keir Starmer? Where are the other political leaders? They are not able to do what Tommy achieved. And I'm asking, as a member of the European Parliament, where are you losers? Where are you? They were laughing, they're making fun of Tommy. Where are you now, losers? You're not able to gather 5 people. Even your own family is not happy to spend time with you. Over 1 million people attended, having a beautiful time, spending time together, and felt united. He did what he promised, and as he said, that's just the beginning. So if these beautiful political elites they are so ready, and they're so great, and they are so much better than Tommy, where are they? Why they cannot prove themselves? Prove it. If you better, don't just shout, don't say these beautiful words, do it. Show that you've got a political power, that people loves you, that people want you. Why don't you do it? Because you can't. Because you are not respected as he is. Because you do not understand needs of society. We are here in this beautiful Sloane Square, beautiful place. I would say a heart of London. And you can see beautiful tables. It's a beautiful, very early afternoon. People are having a glass of champagne. And all these political elites who spend their time in here, who lives here, they think that London and Great Britain looks like this beautiful square.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this.
And it's
like 10,000 people living here. Greater London is 180 out of nearly 9 million people and in London itself. And they think that Great Britain is what Sloane Square is. It's not. They are living in their imagination. They do not understand the state of this country.
And this was one of the main topics of the speeches. You made a very fiery speech. You were leading chants of send them back.
That's right.
You were, and some speakers,
Because I believe they should be sent
including
back.
Ava, took it one step further. She was openly talking about remigration.
Right.
One of the reasons that I think that so many people attended is because the demographic shift that has taken place over the last several decades that has drastically sped up in the last, well, since in the UK, since Tony Blair in 1997, so the last 28 years, drastic speeding up, and then including during the Boris wave. In the general West, we've also seen this in the US, the Biden's open borders. In France, decades of open borders. In Germany, Verschaffendas in 2015 with Merkel. People have had enough, and they came out onto the streets. Ridvan, you and I, we met a few weeks ago, and we went to one of London's worst neighborhoods. Tell us about what we saw there and why would you agree that that was one of the key reasons that people were there?
Yes. I absolutely would. So the thing is, when we went to Whitechapel and, Tower Hamlets and those regions in general, what we saw is, there's something very beautiful, something very admirable about Great Britain, about London, which is that when you look around, there's something beautiful that these people have built, that this culture has established. And this culture has been replaced in many neighborhoods with a different culture that contributed nothing at all to the beauties that you find in the West, the beauties that you find in England, the beauties that you find in Great Britain and in other countries. So they built their places. That neighborhood, for example, was a neighborhood that was full of ordinary British people, and now it has been taken over and completely changed. I mean, we walked through that place. We see halal, we see a place named Mecca, we see Arabic texts, we see pro-Palestine flags, we see all these things. Everyone is walking around with completely Islamic attire. There is pretty much nothing British left there. You hear one thing blasting, and that is the Islamic call to prayer, for example. There's something very significant about the rally yesterday. It wasn't just about, some people in the mainstream media or in mainstream politics want to, paint it as racism, as white supremacy and all that. You saw yesterday something very, very interesting. There were lots of crosses. There was a very iconic image of somebody climbing on top of a statue and waving a huge cross and a flag with a cross. And there were so many chants for Christianity, for reaffirming Christian values,
there you go.
preserving Christian values.
That's very important, because one of the accusations against us when they see crosses is politicizing Bible and Christianity. It's not about using religion to our policies as a politicians, not to do a politics. It's about who we are. I just want to clarify this. We do not use religion as a weapon. Religion is a part of our DNA. This is who we are, and we do have a right to express our feelings. And it's not about religion itself as a Christianity, but also about our culture, about our science, about our past, about what we achieved as a continent, as a Christian culture.
And none of what we have achieved in the West would have been achieved without Christianity.
That's right.
And without Roman Catholicism. It is so ingrained in our DNA. And even, I would go one step further, and I would say Western atheists talk about morality. And then if you challenge them on where that morality comes from, they'll say, oh, well, you get your morality from a book. Well, surprise, surprise to all the Western atheists out there. Your morality, though you might call yourselves atheists, is fully rooted in centuries of Christian thought, tradition, and philosophy. There would be no atheist morality without any of Christendom.
That's why I think it's a great moment to mention Charlie Kirk, who was open to debate, who was very open to have a dialogue with the people who think differently, who are even angry about him. So I think it's a good moment to announce that I will be very happy and ready to debate with any atheist, anyone who really disagree with me on your channel. Stefan, if you would agree.
Adjust.
I am more than happy
So
to host, organize,
if you're
and
ready
produce.
to debate, if you want to talk about Christian civilization versus the rest of what the world can reach, I'm very happy. you can reach out to Stefan and we can have a debate.
But let's go back to where we were, which is, Ridvan, we walked through Whitechapel and Tower Hamlets. We walked several kilometers from Mile End Station all the way to East London Mosque. We spent a good few hours there. It was very tense. It was actually quite scary, especially with you being an apostate. And we know how Islamists treat apostates, death penalty, that according to Pew Research Center, the vast majority of the Muslim world actually usually agrees with. In most majority Muslim countries, majority of Muslims would agree that there should be death penalty for apostasy. Dom, you're a member of the European Parliament. You spend vast amounts of your time in Brussels. We saw some of the effects of mass migration there. Brussels is the beating heart of European political life, but it is also one of the fastest Islamizing cities in the West. Tell me about some of the things that people have to endure in Brussels, in areas like Molenbeek.
No, I'll tell you about a heart of Brussels. I don't have to go to Molenbeek. As a member of the European Parliament, I decided to live very close to the Parliament. I mean, very close, right? There's a square, very close. I don't know. I would say next to the Parliament. Every Friday, there is a fight, stabbing, or shooting. Why is it Friday? Every Friday night, when I'm there, because sometimes I stay there for weekends, every night you can hear sirens, police, ambulance, and every single Friday there is a problem. And it's not Molenbeek. I mean, it's next to the European Parliament. But all these beautiful leftist elites, MEPs, who decided about the direction of Brussels and Europe in general, they don't see that, or they rather that they don't want to see that. They pretend it never happened. There is no discussion about it. There's nothing like that because they feel safe where security is in the Parliament. No one can enter, even though you've got so many homeless around. Like you enter the European Parliament, you've got homeless laying on the floor. So they pretend nothing happened. It's all okay. It's all good. But you're walking out and it's like 3, 4, 5 minutes and you've got shooting and stabbings. It is a fact. Everyone can check it. That's official data, right? So Molenbeek, it's a no-go zone. Like most, we thought that no-go zones are only in Sweden. Some Swedish politicians DM me saying, "Oh, don't say that. It's not true that we have no-go zones." Oh, obviously, you do not you do not put advertisement about no-go zones. That's the description for the places you shouldn't go because of your safety, right? And it's the same in Brussels. But they don't care. There is something sick about their way of thinking. There's something so destructive. Maybe because they do not see the real world, or they do not want to see the real world because they are safe. They are so safe, they don't feel this pressure. And obviously they wouldn't be able or do not have a courage to go out and sit, like we do. I don't care. I mean, I do believe that I'm a big man. I will take care of myself. But what I meant is they are living in a bubble. They don't really see the real world. And it's the same as it is with British elites.
Well, let me ask you something very important. So let's say all those people who are in politics, who make these idiotic decisions, who live in a bubble, who decide everything, let's say they were all forced, here in England or in Belgium, all forced to not live in some safe spaces, but to live among the common population in Whitechapel.
They wouldn't survive. They wouldn't survive. I'm serious.
But do you think if they were forced to live in those places and they didn't have security and they had to walk around like an average person, do you think they would still continue with the stupid policies that they have?
They would change their mind in a second. The problem is that someone owns them. Someone is deciding about the way they think. Nobody owns me. I can say whatever I feel. I can say whatever I believe. I can say whatever I want. I think they are owned. That is the problem. I do not know who, but we can think about it. We can discuss it. It's not natural when someone is voting for more migration, more illegal migration, when you see stabbings, rapes, killings, when you see all this, and you're still continuing this sick, destructive.
It's incomprehensible.
How would you? Yeah.
It's
how would you explain
incomprehensible.
that? There's no explanation for logical person when you see a data, and I'm talking about Eurostat, not talking about right-wing NGOs. I'm talking about Eurostat.
And
Their
if
own-
anything, Eurostat is underrepresenting
It is.
and underreporting the data.
and still it's scary, and they still continuing. That is why we have to stop them. It's time to stop them. There's no joke. It's about the future of our children, our grandchildren, about the future of Christian Europe. This is why I am in politics. That's why I decided no one will do it for me. That's why Tommy decided no one will do it for me. I have to do it. We are not ideal. We are not saints. We are not crystal. We are brave.
I chose to meet with the two of you here in Sloane Square for several reasons. One of them is because this is one of London's wealthiest neighborhoods. When we walk around later and we will walk around Belgravia, Mayfair, or walk down Elizabeth Street, which is one of my favorite streets, there's several things that you see, and it's the disconnect. Just behind me, you have Tiffany. Just next door, there's Cartier. There's Colbert, which is one of London's great restaurants. And interestingly enough, there's also all these Union Jacks above us.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
They've
view.
raised the colors. These have been here for many, many years.
No,
by the
no, no,
way.
but
they've
still,
been here forever.
I know, but still, you have to remember that reason why people raised their colors recently is very specific. They've been silent for years, and they said we have had enough. We've had enough, and they had to find a way to express their patriotism in a way Britain's never experienced. Because, you know, Union flags and all this with little gift shops, it's not the same when people are, you know, climbing and raising their flags and their colors because of the reason, not because of, you know, anything. There must be a reason. And what is the reason? They started to lose their identity. A great Britain must be great again. Why is it not great? Because it's not Britain anymore in a way it used to be. They are losing their DNA. That is the problem.
Yeah. I had a conversation yesterday during the event, actually, or preceding the event, with John Sacerdote. So he's Jewish and has lots of relations with Israel. He was pointing out something very interesting to me. We were talking about counter-protesters at the event, and he was pointing out that in Israel, when there are pro-Israel protests, people carry Israel flags. When there are counter-protests by leftists, they also carry Israeli flags. Here in the UK, you have pro-UK protesters who all carry the Union Jack and the English flag. Then you have counter-protesters, they come with Palestine flags instead.
I just wanted to bring the conversation back to where we were, because it sort of links so well with Tommy as the voice of the working class, villainized, demonized, maligned by the mainstream press for years on end, attacked injustice, jailed.
Yeah.
In many ways, he's a sort of an imperfect man, a dear friend, but also just a martyr of the cause and the voice of the working class. Here we have the stark contrast of that. We couldn't really be further in terms of every metric. We couldn't really be further now from Luton Town and Bury Park than it, not in distance, but in terms of the separation of class, of wealth, even of architecture. It's reflected in every single metric. We're surrounded by people here who live in a bubble. They go to their members' clubs. The working class is priced out of that restaurant over there. It's priced out of Sloane Square Hotel. It's even priced out of the coffee shop that is 3 times as expensive as it should be. Right? So these people there is a divide. And the only people, migrants, that the people in Sloane Square, Belgravia and Mayfair interact with are either wealthy Emiratis, Qataris, Saudis. You know, all the elites, the global elites who gather here. I mean, the Russian oligarchs turned London into their justice court.
That's right.
They all had their fights here.
Well, who owns the most of Mayfair?
The Qataris.
There you go.
The Qataris.
But I'm happy you mentioned money, because I never said that. I hope Tommy wouldn't mind. When I visited him in jail, and I was terrified. Sorry, Tommy, I was really terrified. There was a man, skinny, tired, long beard, and he looked like a Castaway movie main character. I mean, he was in a really bad shape. And I said to him, Tommy, we need you out. Delete this movie. Because from what I know, if he would delete this movie, they would release him. And I said, Tommy, delete it. You will be able to achieve more when you're out. Please do it. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And the reason I said it is he's not doing it for money. He's not doing it for money. He would not spend even a day in jail if he would go with the mainstream, if he would do what he's told. Who is ready now to leave his family, his little kids, go to jail when one click will save you? Who is ready to spend like 7 months in a jail with jihadists? Because where we had a meeting room, right, visit room, and there's a window, and Tommy said to me, come over, I'll show you something. Look who's with me. And on the square outside, you could see only jihadists convicted for what they've done. This is the place they put him in. Do you think that he did it for money, for fame? No. And I was shocked. That was, I know Tommy for 10 years. He visited me in Poland 10 years ago. We had a beautiful time during the Independence Day in Poland. But after my visit in jail, I said, I will do whatever I can to support his cause, to support this man, whatever, they say about him and this, the cause is right. The things he decided to do for the society, for the Europe, is the one we called a bravery, right? So no one experienced what I've seen. That was terrible. So I'd like to say thank you, Tommy. I didn't say that, but it was terrifying. You're a brave hero. Thank you for that.
I suppose the question now to go towards the conclusion of our conversation is, we were at this march. We saw hundreds of thousands of people gather. Something has changed in the UK. The last month, if we were to just recap the last month in terms of events, we have the brutal murder of Iryna Zarutska by DeCarlos Brown Jr. That has radicalized, that image radicalized me, and I'm already
I know what you mean. Angry.
Watching this young girl, and also, just to briefly bounce back on this girl, she could have ended up in Dubai, where many other Ukrainian girls have ended up, and she could have ended up in Warsaw. She was working in a pizza parlor, coming home late at night from work. This was just a hard-working girl who was just looking for safety away from war. And to be murdered that way and have 5 people sit there and not move was horrific.
No reaction.
Then we have the killing of Charlie Kirk, the assassination, act of political terror, absolutely horrific act of violence. And now we have this march. It is sort of 3 very big events in the last month. The Overton window, as someone pointed out on X, has been stabbed to death. It feels that way, huh? So I guess what happens? How do we convert the energy, the frustration, the anger, the pain? There's a lot of pain. Ridvan and I, we spoke the moment we found out Charlie was killed. You were one of the first people I spoke with. There was a lot of pain there. Where do we take this? Where does this march go for? Where do we go from this march? How do we convert this into, we might be winning on the streets. How do we turn that into winning politically?
I want to say a few words about Charlie. I didn't know Charlie for a very long time. I met Charlie for the first time only 2 months before he was murdered. I was very happy when one day he, out of the blue, messaged me on Twitter, on X, and said, hey, I've just seen an interview of you on Pints with Aquinas, and it was very nice. Come down to Phoenix and let's record something together. I told him then that I'm going to attend his Turning Point event in Florida, And without even telling me, he told his team, and they got in touch with me to put me on stage and speak and to say whatever I want.
Free speech.
Yeah, and to also have an interview with him about Islam, Christianity, atheism, and so on. When I interacted with Charlie, online or in person, he was such a loving person. Every single person who has ever interacted with Charlie loves him. Everybody knows that the guy is full of love. Even if he harshly disagreed with you, he was full of love. He believed in talking, in disagreeing and debating and all that. And what's the response to this? Murder. He was brutally murdered. This is insane that some people actually have this mindset that you can solve problems this way. Charlie didn't believe in solving problems this way. He believed in solving problems by talking to each other and understanding each other. And that's what Western society should generally be about. It should be about talking, understanding, exchanging ideas, thinking, advancing, not about fighting and murdering and killing. Unfortunately, the idea of nihilistically, but also Islamistically in other contexts, attacking and shutting down and murdering people has become such a norm among sick parts of the population, and that needs to be urgently fixed.
Yeah, it's true. Unfortunately, as I said yesterday during our rally and my speech, I said it's time to stop wearing dresses and become a man. It's time to put an armor and fight. What I mean by that is we are the part of the culture. Leftism took over. Every single company was left. Like the biggest high-tech companies in the world left. Social media, thank God for Elon, for years they were left, like radical left. All these emojis of pregnant men and all this on Facebook and all this rubbish. Thank God it come to the end, thanks to the victory of President Trump. Our part as members of society, consumers, is to speak out. You love it or you hate it. You like it or you do not. The problem is that we've been a silent majority for years. This is what I said yesterday. This is what I said today. We cannot be a silent majority anymore. They used a huge money to promote leftism. The woke ideology did not come and knock to our doors. Hello, I'm a woke ideology. Do you love me? They spread the message. They created reality, and we have to reshape it now. It's time to go back to the roots, to normality, and it will not be done without us, consumers, social media users. You have to speak out. There were so many messages. Like so many people message me after each of my interviews or each interview or speeches. Oh, you're right, but I can't say it out loud at work because I'm going to lose my job. Thousands, not hundreds, thousands. It's time to speak up. I know it's hard. I know it's risky. But if we will not react, we're going to lose not only a job, we're going to lose our family and the whole continent. And it's not only about Europe. It's time for a tough man. It's time to stop wearing dresses. It's time to put an armor and fight.
But how do we convert it into political power, Dom?
Well, simple. How come the Labours came to power in Britain? Not because they've got such a huge majority and support. People did not vote in many cases. I mean, yesterday event shows you, and the comments, especially Sky News, shows you that majority, silent majority, again, is conservative. They did not vote. They did not like Tories for many reasons. Tories owned a low support and people did not show up. It's time to make sure that you're going to vote. But before you're going to vote, you have time to reshape reality. Social media, discussions, even families. Sometimes they are divided so much that they do not discuss these things. Charlie was ready to discuss with everyone. Your weapon is your beliefs, your vote, your attitude, and your bravery. Use it.
There was something very beautiful that I seen yesterday. I left the venue a little bit before the event ended. I left the whole, media enclosure and all that, and just started walking among the crowds. And it was a fantastic thing. I was walking among them. Everyone is so happy, so motivated, so fiery. I've had a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, this is amazing," and all that. So I kind of should have. I feel like I should have filmed that. But there was so much happiness and so much motivation, so much relief. After the event was over, I've had so many people message me and say, "Wow, this is a fantastic event. This is better than anything I've seen. Something is changing. Something is waking up. People are waking up. People are organizing. People are moving." We talked about Keir Starmer. I would like to see Keir Starmer go outside and get the same popular public support that Tommy Robinson, with his leadership of the UK, got yesterday.
Impossible. And the funny thing is, our state of mind and versus reality. After my speech yesterday, many people came to me saying, "Oh, you should say that on telly. That was great. That was brilliant." And I went, over 2 million people watched us on Twitter, on X. That was one of the most popular live in the world. Over 2 million on X itself. We still think that we are inaccessible, that we are not watched, that we are not listened, that we are a small group. We are majority, over 2 million people just on X. And obviously we had Facebook, we had YouTube, we are majority. Majority. You have to think as a majority. And if someone would like to debate it, I'm happy to do it.
We didn't need the mainstream TV.
No,
we forced the TV.
We are the media now. This is what Elon just on X. He just posted again. You are the media, quoting Tommy. We are the media now.
We went out there. We forced the TV to talk about it.
They had to do it.
We forced the TV
they couldn't
to talk
ignore
about
it. No. So that is our success.
Well, I think this was a great conversation, guys.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
Always a pleasure
Thank you
to
so
see
much.
you, Ridvan. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Man.
Thank you so much.